The final public appearance of Kelly Ripa and Mark Consuelos before their short break came during the December 31st broadcast of Live, an episode that carried both celebration and a gentle sense of reflection. The energy in the studio was bright, playful, and familiar. Yet, there was an unmistakable softness to the moment, the kind that arrives when people sense a transition, even a temporary one. Laughter filled the space, memories were exchanged, and the rhythm of the show unfolded just as it always had. To viewers at home, it felt like another joyful broadcast. To longtime fans, it felt like the closing of a small chapter before the opening of another. No announcements of endings, no dramatic shifts. Just the sense that the show, like life itself, was breathing between moments. When the studio feels different. In the weeks that followed, audiences noticed something subtle. The show continued, the conversations flowed. The laughter remained, but the atmosphere had shifted just enough to be felt. Kelly had stepped away for a well-earned break, giving the spotlight to a rotating lineup of guest hosts. The desk was full. The conversations were lively. Yet, the familiar cadence Kelly brings, the instinctive warmth, the lived-in rhythm, was something no one else could replicate. The absence did not weaken the program. Instead, it highlighted how deeply her presence anchors it. It reminded viewers that the soul of a long-running show is not only in its format, but in the people who have shaped it over time. Kelly's time away from the desk. Kelly's hiatus began on August 1st, offering her something rare in how the world of daily television. Uninterrupted time to slow down, time to step out of the early morning rush, time to be simply present with Mark and their family. Morning television is relentless, built on consistency and constant visibility, and stepping away even briefly is no small decision. But this pause was not about stepping back from her career. It was about stepping into her life. While she took that time, the show embraced flexibility, experimenting with guest hosts and new energy, while Mark remained a steady presence, guiding each broadcast forward. A season of guest voices. The guest host era quickly became its own kind of event. Each new face brought a different texture to the desk, offering viewers fresh chemistry and unexpected moments. Jackie Tone was among the first to step in, bringing theatrical warmth and expressive humor that gave the show a playful spark. Her comfort in the space felt natural, and the light-hearted stories shared on air reflected how easily she slipped into the rhythm of the program. Jenna Dewan followed, bringing her own blend of openness and enthusiasm. Later, sharing online how meaningful the experience had been for her. Rita Ogura also took her turn, adding her voice and perspective, reminding audiences how many personalities can exist within the same format. Each appearance became both a celebration of variety and a quiet reminder of what makes Kelly singular. Mark holding the center. Throughout Kelly's break, Mark remained at the helm, providing continuity while welcoming new co-hosts with ease. His role during this period became especially visible, not only as a co-anchor, but as a guide for the ever-changing desk. He carried the show's rhythm forward, bridging familiarity with novelty. His comfort on set allowed guest hosts to relax, experiment, and settle into the experience. It also reinforced what fans have long appreciated, that the chemistry between Kelly and Mark is not accidental. It is built from years of shared timing, mutual respect, and the subtle language that develops between people who truly enjoy working together. When Mark took his own break, even Mark briefly stepped away for professional commitments in Los Angeles, opening the door for Kelly before her own hiatus and a variety of guest hosts to guide the show. David Muir, Carson Kressley, and Jerry O'Connell each took their place beside her, creating memorable broadcasts filled with humor and spontaneity. One particularly warm moment came when David Muir received an enthusiastic audience response, prompting Kelly to joke affectionately about how the crowd was surely there for Mark. The exchange reflected something deeper than humor. It showed how the show thrives on real connection, on hosts who are comfortable enough to tease, to acknowledge the audience, and to let authenticity shape the atmosphere. Seeking perspective from a legend. During this season of reflection, Kelly shared a meaningful conversation with Oprah Winfrey on a podcast in July 2025. After more than 2 decades of daily television, Kelly wondered aloud about longevity, about how one knows when it is time to move forward or evolve. Oprah's response was both reassuring and affirming. She told Kelly that this was not her moment to step away, that her voice, her presence, and the community she had built still mattered deeply. The advice wasn't about staying for the sake of staying. It was about recognizing relevance, connection, and the unique space she continues to hold. For fans, the exchange offered comfort. Kelly's break was not a closing door. It was simply a breath. A year of transitions and firsts. The year itself has been filled with change. One of the most symbolic moments came with the show's move from its longtime Upper West Side home to a modern studio in Soho. The farewell to the old space was rich with memory, featuring clips and reflections from past co-hosts, including Regis Philbin, Michael Strawn, and Ryan Seacrest. Kelly and Mark stood in that familiar studio not just as hosts, but as witnesses to decades of shared mornings. The move to the new Robert A. Iger building represented more than a change of address. It marked a willingness to evolve, to carry history forward without being confined by it. A conversation with the audience. The reaction from fans during this period revealed something powerful. Viewers didn't just watch the show, they felt connected to it. They spoke about missing Kelly's humor, her perspective, her instinct for conversation. The online dialogue reflected years of shared mornings, moments of laughter, reflection, and distraction from everyday life. Television, at its best, becomes ritual. Kelly's temporary absence highlighted how deeply she has become part of that ritual for millions. A career shaped by adaptability. Kelly Ripa's career tells a story of evolution. From her early acting days to becoming one of the most recognizable faces in daytime television, she has continually adapted to changing media landscapes while maintaining authenticity. She has worked with multiple co-hosts, navigated format shifts, and grown alongside her audience. Each chapter has added to her voice rather than replacing it. Her brief hiatus fits naturally into that story, not as interruption, but as integration. A reminder that longevity is not built on constant motion alone, but on knowing when to pause. The future of Live with Kelly and Mark. As the show moves forward into 2026, it stands in a position of both stability and possibility. The new studio, rotating guest experiences, and outside projects reflect a program willing to expand while honoring what made it beloved. Kelly's return restores the familiar rhythm, while the season of change ensures the show remains alive and responsive. Together, Kelly and Mark continue shaping a space that blends humor, warmth, and conversation. A tone that has carried the show across generations. A pause that enriches, not replaces. Kelly's time away was never a withdrawal. It was a recalibration, a reminder that even enduring institutions benefit from rest, reflection, and renewal. Her absence invited appreciation. Her return invites celebration. In stepping back briefly, she reinforced something essential, that presence is powerful precisely because it is chosen. Continuing a living legacy. Ultimately, this chapter of Kelly Ripa's career reflects balance rather than disruption. A balance between work and life, between consistency and change, between public presence and private time. As she returns to the desk, viewers can expect what they have always received: humor, sincerity, and the particular lightness she brings to conversation. The show continues. The audience remains. And Kelly, grounded in both her career and her personal world, steps back into her place not as a fixture, but as a living, evolving presence.